Thank you. I'd like to call to order the Audit Committee meeting of the City of New York for Wednesday, June 26, 2024. And the first order of business is, could the secretary do a roll call?
Good morning, everyone. Our private members, Michael Spitzer, Chair.
Present.
Marcia Van Wagner.
Present.
Our public members, representing Mayor Eric Adams, Paul Tinas.
Present.
Representing Controller Brad Lander, Jacqueline Thompson. Present. Representing Public Advocate Janani Williams, Wesley Paisley.
Present.
We have a quorum, and for the record, we have Mark Kaplan joining us via Zoom.
Mark, can you hear us? You're muted, Mark.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Mark.
Marla, can you hear us?
I think he's been working on the audio for a while. Let's see.
Marla?
I can hear you.
Mark, can you hear us?
Yeah, he could hear us. He's muted.
He hears us, but we can't hear him. He's muted. Okay, we're going to proceed. What? Mark, can you try calling in from your phone as well as being on screen? All right, we'll begin. The first item of business is the deferred comp plans for the city. And can you please introduce yourselves? And if anybody is on Zoom from your office, introduce them as well. And is somebody here from the audit firm? Introduce them or let them introduce themselves. Thanks.
Okay, good morning. My name is Beth Kushner. I'm the Deputy Director of Administration for the New York City Deferred Compensation Plan and the NICE IRA program. We are here today to present our annual comprehensive financial report, and with me is Mai Chow to my right, who is the Chief Accountant for the plans. And on Zoom, we have Chris Rogers and Jim Kreiser from Clifton, Larson, and Allen, CLA, who is our auditing firm. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Mai to talk a little bit about our financials this year.
Thanks.
Okay, so for this is good, right? Well, this is good? Yep. Okay. So for 2023, we had over 243,000 participants. The total combined net position was 30 billion. This represents a 4 billion increase from the prior year. So is there any comments to the report?
And we can ask our auditors on Zoom if they have anything they would like to add.
I think the only thing I'd add, I think is, as you know, in an audit, our job is to opine on the financial statements, that they are fairly presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. I am happy to report that, consistent with prior years, we issued an unmodified opinion, which is the best opinion available. And our report, our date of the report was June 4th of 24.
And additionally, with the ACFR and financial opinion, we also do additional IT procedures, one in accordance with auditing standards and updated standards such as SAS 145, but also to look at requirements and elements such as the Department of Financial Services, DFS cybersecurity regulations. And we can report that our conclusion would indicate that the plan is operating in conformance with the regulations and requirements as set forth by DFS.
Thanks. How many members are in the 457?
So as you might be aware, the 457 was the original plan that deferred comp started with back in 1985. And there are 161,998 accounts in the 457 in 2023.
I remember when it was under 1,000 and the initial financial statements were several hundred thousands. How many billions is it now?
30. Just FYI, we are the second largest 457 plan in the country as a municipality. New York State exceeds us.
I'm just sort of curious about the people rolling, doing rollovers in and out of the plans. Like, what is there like a net change due to rollovers?
We do keep track of that, but let's see if we can point to a specific page.
Okay, so if you turn to page 24, for the 457 plan for 2023, we have total contributions and rollover 961 million.
I guess what I was asking is the accounts being, like, on balance, is the plan gaining more people through rollovers into the plan than it is losing from people doing rollovers out of the plan?
So we are what we consider now a mature plan, where our population is not, new people. It's people who are probably in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. So there is people who are leaving the plan, retiring. As you know, the uniform employees can retire after 20 years. So they may only be in their 40s. We do look at asset retention, and we do look at where people are rolling funds. The plan gets funds rollovers into the plan from actually from pension loans. When people are leaving, they can roll their final pension loan into the plan. We get rollovers from outside plans as other new employees are coming in from when they have a 401k, or they come between the state and the city or another municipality and they have a 457, so they roll the funds here. As far as rolling out, we do see people when they're retiring considering rolling because they think they have to roll to, take the money with them. We have created a communication campaign to educate participants and employees that they do not have to take their money when they leave city service. Matter of fact, we have a nice IRA for that reason as well. If they want an IRA, they can roll these funds into their nice IRA, which is the New York City Employee IRA. So we make sure that we do inform participants about fees, which is very, very important as they roll from this plan, which is an institutional program, into a retail IRA or retail product. And they understand the fees that are associated with that. But if somebody wants to roll their money out, you can't stop them.
So I may have missed something about this. So you don't get you're saying everybody's 40s, 50s, and 60s. So is this now closed to people, like new employees?
No. I'm saying that we have a more mature account base. It started in the 80s. Right, but no, we have new employees. Part of orientation when a new hire comes on is they're informed about their benefits, and they're also told about their deferred compensation. A lot of people are familiar with a 401k plan, and we educate them on the differences between the two plans so they can make a decision. The plans are very similar now with all the IRS changes through the years. The main difference is when you can withdraw funds without a penalty. The 401k has a 10% early withdrawal penalty, where the 457 does not. That's the major difference between the two. But we do encourage people to enroll as soon as they start with city employment, because before you know it, the account can really accumulate.
At one time, and I don't know if it's still in effect, that members have to contribute to the 457 if they don't join the pension plan?
That was the case a while back. Now that the city has moved to mostly permanent or civil service, employee status, at that point the employees they have to enroll in the pension plan. We also have the VDC, which is the new program that certain employees are eligible for. It's a defined contribution, a voluntary defined contribution plan that was implemented a few years ago with the state. So they have that option as well. But yes, they have to join some kind of program. But they can have the 457 and their pension plan.
I believe you also could have the 401 with the 457 and the pension plan.
That is correct.
This is why some people are retirement rich and working poor.
It's also something employees took advantage of during all the retro payments that came through in this past few years, where they could defer more money into these programs and avoid the taxes or increase their retirement income.
Anybody have any questions or comments? First, was there a management letter?
Chris, you want to answer that?
No, there was no management letter issued. Controls are operating effectively. The one report that we issue is a report on internal control over financial reporting and on compliance and other matters. And that's where we would report, material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in controls. Consistent with prior years, we had no findings in that report.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions about the financials?
Just a brief question. So on page 27, second paragraph, you talk about the Magnificent Seven. And then when I go to page 39, I don't really see a discussion about the foreign currency risk. Could you just briefly describe your process for evaluating the foreign currency risk? Because I just know that in light of many interesting changes internationally, a lot of things have been happening with certain funds, certain dollars, I should say.
Right. Well, from a financial statement perspective, we have to disclose what is subject to foreign currency risk. So what you have on those pages is what's subject to the risk. When we go to value, the value is done either by the custodian or from the stable fund from the contract value. And we test those values via the custodian or either, or we test the contract value and confirm.
You probably answered this already, but I'm just curious. When I see something not applicable, like all the way down at the bottom, like the Saudi Riyal 2022, does that mean that there was no testing or no investing in that dollar? I'm just curious. It just stuck out to me. That's all. Page 39.
Bear with me. Let me get there. NA. That NA means that there was nothing invested in the prior year.
Okay, then that makes sense. All right. So there's a decrease in that and a decrease in.
I'll ask a question on behalf of my colleague, Mark Kaplan, who would always ask this. Is there somebody that monitors the value of the foreign currency for gains and losses? Or is it just a byproduct of the investments? Because there were investments, and then the dollar value or the value of the currency could shrink as well.
And I'd
Correct.
like to add, actually, in certain elements, like right now we're seeing on the international landscape where a lot of investors are taking their money out of the Chinese yuan and bringing it into the Hong Kong dollar because of fears of not enough infrastructure and investment in the Chinese government for inflation. So.
Well, I mean, I think that goes to the investment policies of the plan, right? I mean, we come in at a point in time and we'll audit the values that are being calculated by the custodian. But ultimately the investment, right, is based on the investment policies of the plan. Does that make sense?
I think also to add to that, the plan does have an investment policy that is, we work with the plan's consultants to review that. They actually review it quarterly at the board meetings, and they have a performance report that is prepared by the consultant, Siegel Margot, and presented at the quarterly board meetings where they do review each of the investments, the core options, and the international fund is looked at to see if it's in compliance or out of compliance according to the plan's guidelines. So that would be something that the board would discuss at the quarterly meeting and at the TAC meeting, which is done monthly.
Are there any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. In addition to the audited financial statements, we were presented the cybersecurity assessment and information technology review report. And I guess this was also done by CLA. Well, I know it
Yes,
was.
that is correct.
Do you know, is this shared with the city's cybersecurity task force?
We do not share it with them. We do work with OTI and Cyber Command. The plan has its own CISO, its own information officer that is dedicated to work with cyber and work with the plan on ensuring that we're meeting all the policies and all of the procedures that are presented to us by Cyber Command or OTI.
Because I'd like to send a copy of this to the Cyber Command.
We can do that.
Okay.
I have a follow-up question to that. Your cybersecurity officer, are they, how do I say this? Were they hired by you or were they suggested by OTI?
They were hired by OLR, by the plan, by deferred comp. It was at the suggestion of CLA, the auditors, that the plan have a CISO. It was a very vigorous review to hire them. Apparently, every agency, my understanding is, has to have a CISO now. And then they all report into the cyber and to the mayor's office. So it is a very diligent process that they go through, background checks, et cetera, to make sure that they are competent and for the position.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions? I'd like to thank you for coming this morning. And please tell Georgia I said hello.
We definitely will. Thank you so much.
Have a good day, everyone.
Take
Have
care.
a great summer.
Thank you for your time.
Before we continue, I omitted to approve the minutes of two prior meetings, one held on May 22nd. So I'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes of the Audit Committee for May 22nd.
Motioned.
Thank you.
Second.
And I'd also like to have a motion to accept the minutes of the June 5th, 2024 Audit Committee meeting.
Moved.
Thank you. Before we begin, I'd like to have a motion to move into executive session.
So moved.
Thanks.
Mikhail, please stop recording. You can start recording again.
Mike, for what it's worth, I heard almost all of it. I just couldn't talk for much of it.
Okay, thanks. I don't believe there's anything to be discussed or reviewed in open session, so I'd like to have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So
Thank
moved.
you. And Paul, congratulations.
We can stop recording.